Okay, we're going to have a quick look in here. First off, I wanted to show you this. This is a deer tick. It's a fairly young one. You can probably just about see with the GoPro that it's got 8 legs. And there are a lot in this wood. Right, squashed in. Very hard to squash. And basically I found him on my trousers. I checked my trouser before I left the area where the deer can't get at, because ticks tend not to move about very much. And I found him on this leg. We'll see if we pick up any more in this area here. So this was deliberately dropped. So this is permanently fenced with deer netting. It did its job very, very well. You've got really good regrowth. And the reason they let the deer in is to make cutting of the coppice easier. This is all cut with grantate, and it was cut hard against a hard and fast deadline, and it was cut and dropped. And you can see what the result is. You've got these windrows, and you have to mash those before we can get at the bases of these to cut. Even though it's almost rotted away, there are still bits which are pretty sound, because this was fairly large diameter. And you can see on the bottom here, see where it's cranky? But you haven't got typical deer cranks, which tend to how can I explain it? They tend to come up, and there's a much sharper crank about here. This is just moved because I think it's hit one of these. And there tends to be a small nubbin, almost like this, where the top's been chopped out. It'll do that several times. I see one, I'll show you. But anyway, you can see through here that you've got a pretty hard browse line. There are so many deer in this wood, they've eaten everything. It's immediately palatable. And this early in the year, it's these little leaves and these little shoots. So any shoots that come in get eaten off. You've still got pretty good flora. And if you look, you can see that the hazel canopy is closed over. So next time around, regrowth will be even better than this time. And hopefully next time around, you won't have so much material as you have here. So this will be easy to cut, and whoever takes it next time around, they should be able to make a little bit of money. You can see here, Bambi's been eating the brambles. So deer have an effect on brambles. And I've heard of people letting deer into coppice to eat the brambles, but if you need to do that, then your coppice isn't dense enough, because as you can see by the total lack of brambles in through here, see the difference? The canopy is good enough to shade out any bramble growth, and that's what you will get if your stool density and vigour is great enough. And if you look over here, where you can see light at the edge of this canopy, and compare it with this stuff over here, the regrowth on this is what I would term mimsy. Small diameter, and there are less stems per stool because of the canopy over here. Got it? Good. And this is another effect of deer. And I can see this all the way along. Don't know whether the GoPro will pick it up. Develveting of antlers. Here. So this as well will reduce the value of this coppice, reduce the number of stems per acre, and increase the amount of time it takes to cut it out, or cut out the usable product. Right, just checking myself for deer ticks. It's not on my trousers, there's one on my hand. See him? Deal with him in a minute. You can put him on your thumbnail and squash him with another thumbnail, and they're hard to squash. He's even smaller than the other one we saw. He, possibly she. And there's a lot in this wood because there are a lot of deer. The reason I get so worried about ticks is because they carry Lyme disease in the UK. Primary Lyme disease, if you see the initial symptoms, is fairly easily treated with, I believe the drug is doxycycline. That's been used on me 2 or 3 times. Primary symptoms are a rash around the site of the bite. Comes in 1, 2, maybe a little longer weeks after the initial bite. And then you have secondary and tertiary, which produces symptoms including central nerve system damage, and can be extremely difficult to treat, and the symptoms are extremely nasty. So, deer ticks. Right, turn you off.